On this edition of Fed Gov Today with Francis Rose, the new year means new decisions about your retirement.
People need to think about whether it's right for them to convert some of their traditional balance into a Roth account.
Jim Kaplan of the TSP explains on Fed Gov Today in just a moment. First, though, an update about the Fed Gov Today podcast holiday schedule. This is the last Fed Gov Today show of 2025. The new year of Fed Gov Today podcasts starts Tuesday, January 6th. You can follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on the Fed Gov Today YouTube channel, or on demand at fedgovtoday.com. Most calendars end the year 2025 on December 31st, but the Thrift Savings Plan has two New Year's celebrations that are a little different. Jim Kaplan's Director of External Affairs at the Federal Retirement Thrift Investment Board. Jim, I'll start with a Happy New Year to you because I won't talk to you until 2026, but you've already celebrated one New Year and you have another one coming up. What does that mean and how does it affect participants? Welcome, Jim.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Francis, and happy holidays to you. The Thrift Savings Plan is posted on TSP.gov, has a number of deadlines that occur in December. We've already passed the deadline for making most transactions and for your required minimum withdrawal. And we actually have made those RMDs payments in December to folks who were reaching that deadline to ensure that none of them missed taking out that required minimum disbursement. And then on December 29th at noon Eastern Time is the cutoff date for any final withdrawals you're going to take this year that you wanted counted towards your 2025 taxes. If you submit after the 29th, by the time it gets processed and transferred and deposited to you, that's going to go into 2026. So at this point, folks have pretty much wrapped up their withdrawals, their disbursements for 2025, and are starting to make their plans for 2026, and the TSP is right there with them.
Anything else that people should think about regarding their TSPs at the end of the year, Jim?
Sure. There are a couple of things that everybody should do as regular housekeeping, whether they do it when they're doing their taxes or some people do it their birthday. But at the end of the year, you should always take that time to look into your account, make sure that your contact information, your email, your phone number, your address are all accurate, that you're getting your statements accurately, perhaps that your beneficiaries are set and that there have been no changes over the course of the year. No changes to your marital status, maybe children, maybe other plans that you're making for your own future. And then as you start the new year, it's about a good time to consider whether or not you're going to be in that position, whether because of a pay raise or a new position, to increase your contribution level so that you can plan to save even more for your future and plan to retire with dignity.
I note 1% pay raise that President Trump signed for civilian employees. 3.8%, for military and law enforcement. Folks will be getting step increases as a result of reviews and so on. So there is opportunity for people to roll more money into their accounts, even if they're not on automatic pilot.
Correct. It's really a chance to increase your savings levels while still seeing your actual paycheck go up. And so it has less of an impact. If you're getting a little bit more every paycheck, and you take some of that increase and put it in your savings, it allows you to save while you still take that benefit of having earned a little bit more in the year to come.
The countdown is on now to something that you and I have been talking about on and off for months, if not a year or so. And it will be happening by the next time you and I talk, and that is the Roth in-plan conversion feature that will be available. It rolls out January 28th. What should folks think about between now and then to determine if that's something that makes sense for them?
Well, the great thing is we already have some information up about the big changes coming in 2026, including the Roth in-plan conversion on the TSP.gov webpage. And people need to think about whether it's right for them to convert some of their traditional balance into a Roth account. And once that is all up and live in January, there's actually a calculator, I've seen the pilot, that allows you to go in and put in what's your tax rate, how much are you making, how much are you saving, how much are you looking to convert? How long would it take before the taxes you pay now, when you convert into Roth, are going to be made up by the additional money you would earn by having moved that money over and not have to pay out? So there's going to be some really helpful tools for you to take a look at, to play with, to kind of see, is this a decision that's right for me? A lot of people think of Roth as something that young folks do early in their career because it allows those earnings to grow tax-free. But more and more, it's also an option that people are taking as part of their estate planning to recognize that they can leave their TSP account to their heirs having already paid the taxes on it and thus alleviate some of that burden. So there's a lot of great options there, and there's information on our webpage, and that calculator will be up. That'll be inside your account. You'll have to be logged on to give that a try because it's showing you your numbers, and it'll be personalized for each individual participant.
We'll put a link to tsp.gov in the show notes today so folks can take a look at that. Two risks that your team is taking a look at updating for calendar year 2025 as we get to the end of that. Cybersecurity, which I know you and I have talked about many times, you're always on top of at TSP, and artificial intelligence as a risk. And this is the statement: the adoption of enterprise artificial intelligence brings transformative potential for business efficiency and innovation. It also introduces privacy concerns, potential biases in decision-making processes, and additional information security risks. How's TSP approaching artificial intelligence, and from what direction, Jim?
Sure. So we have an Office of Planning and Risk that takes a look and works with our auditors, both internal and external, to make sure we're watching what are the challenges that we could face and where are the ones that could have the biggest impact. And there are two that for the year 2025, we had on that medium risk that's slightly above higher risk. One being cybersecurity, which as we've made more and more improvements, we actually intend to move that next year to just the standard level of risk, and we'll continue to maintain and work that. Artificial intelligence has a number of different ways it could impact, whether that's how we use it internally to make sure that we are using it in an appropriate way to help us track and support our participants and not leaving vulnerabilities that can be abused or used, but also how other people outside it are use it to, whether it's track people's activities, look at numbers, look into information. So there's all sorts of different ways that modern technology can impact on any of us. And so the key here is that we have people looking at that. We have people from our CISO to our chief risk officer who are regularly evaluating that and reporting to our board on a quarterly basis. Are we doing what we need to do? Are we taking the appropriate actions to make sure we are protecting our capabilities and our funds for our participants and beneficiaries? And to say at our most recent board member, we are.
You just answered my next question, Jim, which is how often do you take a look at these, at the risks from a risk management perspective and evaluate them and update them? Quarterly is a pretty regular cadence, to be honest, sounds like.
Well, we report them regularly. We're working on them every day. I mean, that's our professionals. We have people that are full-time working on our risk team, on our cybersecurity teams, on our accounting teams to make sure that we're taking all the appropriate actions. You know, our CFO always says every dollar we don't spend is a dollar we don't take out of our participants' accounts. And so he's regularly looking to make sure that we are paying on time, that we are paying accurately, like any other federal agency, that we are doing our due diligence. And so that's done on a daily, if not minute-by-minute basis. But our Office of Planning and Risk does review that quarterly and report that up to our board. And our board does regularly ask questions to make sure that we are taking the steps necessary to protect the funds for our participants.
Jim, Happy New Year. Thank you for all the terrific information you've provided over the course of 2025, and look forward to continuing the collaboration in 2026.
Well, thank you. Looking forward to continued improvements and to continue to work with you in the year to come.
You can read more about the TSP on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com. Thank you very much for listening to the Fed Gov Today podcast this year. Here's to a happy and calmer 2026. I'm Francis Rose. I'll talk to you Tuesday, January 6th. Thanks for listening.